A raw audio file is any file containing uncompressed audio. Manifest represents the permissions to access a resource or a set of resources defined by a given URL and for a given set of user settable request methods and request headers. Hi guys, welcome back to Perfect eLearning channel. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more technical content. In today's video, you will learn about one of the important Java topics, which is audio raw and URL with internet permissions. So let's get started.
How are you all? I hope everybody is staying safe and doing the course well. So in this class, we are going to discuss about audio. It's almost similar like we did in the previous session about videos, right? So it's also quite easy. So here also we are going to do two things. Number one, some static audio that we'll be putting in the raw folder, and number two, we'll be using some URL, audio URL, and we'll be playing like we used YouTube in the case of video. So we'll be playing an audio via some URL. Okay, so these two things we'll be doing. So it's very simple steps. So I've just created a new project and I have just deleted hello world. Now let me go to my main activity. Okay, so let's say I want to play the audio just on opening of the app, for example. So what it'll be, so I'll just, so there is something known as media player. Okay, so in order to play any audio, you just need a media player to set up, right? So for example, media player, and you need to create the object of the media player. So there is a function called create in the media player, which takes a context, which is this, as we know from the previous lecture. This is the context, and next it takes the ID of the resource where your file is saved, the audio file. Okay, so before that we need the audio file, right? So let's go to Google. Okay, so any sample audio file you can download. So what you can write here, download sample audio MP3, right? So there is something known as filesexamples.com. You can go to that. There are various actually. I have, I guess, opened one or two. Right. There is also this one, soundhelix.com. Various are there. So for example, I download this first one. It starts playing. I will just download it. So I'll show you how it plays. So it's almost like that. So now let's go to our downloads. Okay, let me share that. Right, so let me just rename it to audio. Okay, and let me copy it. Fine. Now I'll go to my project, app, source, and main and rest, and here again I'll do the same stuff. I'll just right click, right? I will go to new directory. I'll name it raw, right? And I will control V over here. You can also drag and drop if you're working with Windows. So see, I got the audio file. Now the next thing that I have to do here is simply give the path, the ID of the raw dot audio. Done. Right? As simple as that. Okay. Now you have created the object. The next thing that you have to do is just start this media player. That's it. Okay, and you're done. So let me run the app. So it takes hardly 2 times to actually run. But you see, this is not the use case that we are looking for. We don't need to, just play the audio just on opening the app, right? So we'll, of course, what we focus is on controlling the audio, like when to start, when to pause, when to stop, these kind of things also. So we'll be doing that as well. So you see the app open and it starts playing. Right. So this is something which we are not looking for, but yes, we got an idea how to play an audio. Okay, perfect. Now the next thing that we are looking for is some play pause. So there is no asset controller. You need to make your controllers for the audio. So how will you make your controllers? By having some 2-3 buttons, right? So for example, I have one button over here. Right, I have another button just below it. And I have another button just below it. Okay. So for example, the first button I have written play. The next button says pause. And the next button says stop. Okay. And let me set the constraints. And we are done. Right. And also let's add the, let's make 3 functions for the on click functionality. So for example, public void play, and we'll be having view, alt enter, right? Public void pause, and we'll be having view, right? Public void stop, view, right? So we got the 3 buttons that we'll be adding on the on click. So for play, for example, the first thing, so we'll be adding play. For pause, we'll be adding pause, and for stop, we'll be adding stop. Done? Great. Now let's come here, and what we'll do, we'll just copy paste this start code in the play, right? And then we will, okay. So now what we want the same media player to be paused. We want the same media player to be stopped, right? So can you solve it for me? Just pause the video, do it as a quick challenge. So I want the same media player to start, same media player to pause, and same media player to stop. Okay, so just pause the video and try doing it. It's very easy. You have already done that before. Okay, so those who did that, it's amazing. Those who didn't do, it's okay. So what we can do, we can actually put this outside, right? And let's remove this media player from here. And now we can use the same media player for pausing, and we can use the same media player for stopping also, right? Okay. But there's one more issue. The other issue says that why am I creating this in the play button? So every time a new object is created in the play button, when I press play, every time a new object is created. That also I don't want. So I can just create it once in the on create. So let me remove it from here. Let me remove the start from here and this. So now I have created, as soon as the activity opens, I've just created the media player, but I'm going to start it only when I press on play. I'm going to pause it when I press on pause, and I'm going to stop it so when I press on stop. So this is how it is going to work. Okay, so let's run that. So that's a very simple media player create function is there, which takes the context, which takes your res ID, which is basically the path of the raw where your file is being saved, right? And simply you can start, pause, and stop it whenever you want to, right? Great. So, okay, let's see. So you see when I press and pause, it gets paused. Okay. And when I press on play, it actually plays from there only where, you know, I paused it. Okay, so you go ahead, check for yourself, and if I press on stop, it's going to stop permanently, and then if I press on play, it's going to start from the beginning. Okay, so this is how I created this, right? Now, this next thing that we ought to do is a very simple thing, that is taking a URL and playing it over here. So there is just try and do this on yourself. Okay, just pause the video, try and do this yourself, and take any URL. For example, you can take this URL only, file examples that we already, from where we have downloaded the file, you can take this URL. So instead of downloading and putting in the rest folder, you can actually play it directly from the URL. Okay, so why not you give it a try? I'll give you a quick hint. So just change this line, this parameter, the other thing's gonna remain the same. And just one thing to add on. So let's see who can do this. So just pause the video and come back. Okay. So I really hope you guys managed to do this, and some of you actually made your app crash. So if you did that, congratulations, because you are going to learn something new. And those who didn't give a try, I would again recommend go ahead, give it a try. Okay. So let's actually do that. So string URL is equal to, so you can take any URL, maybe this one, or maybe this one, or maybe this one. For example, I'll take this, right? And I will add this URL. Okay. So you see when I create this, so let me just comment this off and let me create this. So you see when I create this, it gives me following things. One is the context, so which I added. Then it tells me you need to add a URI, right? So what is a URI? As we discussed last time, so URI is used to parse a URL. That's it. So your work is done. But I'm sorry, if you do only this, your app is going to crash. You want to see the crash? It's okay, you can try yourself and see it. So why it's going to crash? Because this is over the internet, right? This soundhelix.com is over the internet. Okay, so which my app doesn't know how to interact with. My app only knows to interact with raw to all the folders that are inside the app. It doesn't know how to interact on the internet. In the case of YouTube, it was just opening the YouTube app and YouTube was handling the internet stuff, right? But here, my app needs to handle the internet stuff. Okay, so your app needs to get some permission for handling the internet, right? So how to do that? Let's go to Google. Internet permission Android. So simple, this line is there. Okay, uses permission, which you have to add in your Android manifest. So it's found over here, okay, directly inside the SRC, or you can press shift 2 times and you can search for Android manifest file and you are going to find it, right? And before the application only, just paste this line of the internet, that this app is going to use the permission of internet. So what is this? You might have already seen on various applications, like they ask for certain permissions from you, like storage, location, etc., etc. So internet permission doesn't need to ask from you. It's a very not a mandatory one, right? So it's going to take it itself, because every app requires that. So that means your app now requires internet to run. If your phone is not having internet, this app won't run. Okay, so now let's try and play this on our app. So now my app got the internet permission, my app got some URL, and it's going to create by parsing that particular URL, and then the same thing of the start, pause, and stop is going to happen, right? So it's playing, pause, Fine. So I just hope it plays well for you guys. Okay. So now you know both the things in terms of audio file. You know how to play an audio directly from the raw folder, and you know how to play it from any URL. Okay. So I'm going to see you then in the next class with some more amazing stuff coming on. So till then, go ahead and practice all that we have done today. So good luck. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.